Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to do something special. We are going to wire wrap this beautiful little carnelian stone. And why I wire wrap it, I'm going to tell you a little story about it. I think you'll think it's amazing, as I did. So anyway, this beautiful little carnelian, which we are going to wire wrap, I have to get our wire out here. But first we'll start with our square. Now, normally I do 3, but this is a rather wide, so I'm going to do 4 and have 2 middle ones here. But we need about 4 pieces. I can't talk today. We need 4 pieces, and we need it to be 9 inches. So, at least 9 inches. You can go a little bigger if you want. And actually, I usually go a little smaller with a bead this size, but we are going to go with 9 inches. I prefer to be on the safe side. I can always cut wire off. I can't generally add it unless we do something special. But, so 9 inches is here. And so we need the other 4 pieces. But I was going to tell you a story about this carnelian. I got this carnelian down at the Bitterroot Celtic Gathering and Festival. It's a very pretty little one. It's not huge. As you can see, it's just, well, how big is it? I've never measured it, so let's see. It's about, 1.25 inches by about 1 inch. And if we want millimeters, I can get that too. Most of us jewelry people think in millimeters. So this particular carnelian, oops, don't pop it, is 30 by 25 millimeters. Isn't it pretty? See the light shine through? Oh, you can't see it. There we go. Let's go from this side maybe, if we can get it to get the light through it. But anyway, it's a very pretty little carnelian, and how I came by it is how this story goes. I was down at the Celtic Festival in Hamilton, the Bitterroot Celtic Festival in Hamilton, Montana. And the booth behind mine was some folks who were, for donation, letting kids make paper crowns with all kinds of things on them. Stars, that kind of thing. Moons. Anyway, there was a lady who came through the side where we had a gap between our tent and theirs. And she came up to me and she said, she's just looking through my things, and I said, that's fine, look away. I have a little saying I say, if you don't look, then you're definitely not going to buy. So I said, that's fine, no problem. I don't mind people looking, even if that's all they do. Looking is great. So this lady was looking at my earrings and such, and she said, I'm just waiting for my grandkids. They're over making the crowns. And I said, oh, that's fun. And she looked at me some more and she said, is it all right if I give you a gift? And I said, I don't see any reason why not. They haven't told us that, we can't accept gifts. And she says, okay, what's your favorite gemstone? And I was thinking, and my favorites are actually like opal and moonstone, but those are really expensive. And so I just said to the lady, my next favorite, which is carnelian. For some reason, even though orange has never been a favorite color of mine, not one I'm generally drawn to anyway, I've always been drawn to carnelian. I don't know why, it's just one of those things. So I said carnelian. So this lady reaches into her purse, roots around in her purse for a little while, and she opens it up. And she opens up her hand when she brings it out of her purse, and in it is this carnelian. And she says, so she looks at me and says, "Okay, here's a carnelian for you." I was pretty shocked. I'm like, "Really? You just had a carnelian in your purse when I said I liked carnelians? What if I had said I wanted an opal? What if she had an opal in her purse?" I don't know. But I just thought it was rather intriguing that she happened to have this carnelian in her purse when I said that what I liked was carnelian. So I thought that was pretty amazing. It's not an everyday occurrence that somebody pulls a carnelian out of their purse when you tell them that you love carnelian. But this lady did. And I was, like I say, I was pretty shocked. It was not something that happens every day. And it's like, now how did she just happen to have that carnelian in her purse when that was the thing I said I liked? But whichever, that is what it is. So we have our 4 pieces of, this is 21 gauge gold square wire. Now I'm going to get some 22 gauge. No, this is 21 gauge as well, but this is half round, so it looks really thin. We're going to get about a foot of half round. So let's get that out. Oops. Felt like I just poked myself with the other side, and it looks like it's a little bent, so I may have. So let's, come on you. Oh, that wasn't good. Oh well, we'll spin it back up as best we can and put it back in. So we'll cut our foot off. Actually, this spot doesn't need a foot. It's our second spot that needs a foot. And I may just cut that foot anyway and set it aside since we already have this all spun out here. What I need now is 8 inches. So let's get our 8 inches out. It's right here. Now, rather than try and put this in right now, it will take a while. We'll put it aside and I'll get it put away later into its bag. So let's we put our foot aside here. Let's get our 8 inches. And we want to take our 4 pieces of square. And we want to, I'm thinking, we want a bit in the middle, so we want about 4.5, which is right here, but I just lost my fold on these, so. Now 4.5 is the middle, of course, so we want to take our and start wrapping it around. And as you can see, I'm way out of whack here. It's not close, so I need to straighten that up and get it. Now we'll tighten those around these 4 and just keep wrapping. Push this down over here and wrap this as well over on this side. Get out of the way, baby. Now, because this side is obviously shorter than that side, I want to check again to see where we are in our wraps. Oh, we're at 4. We're way off. We need to slide this up this way some. There, that's closer to 4.5. So we'll wrap this some more. Get them as close as you can. Now we have this little tail here, and I'll hold it while I complete my wraps on the other side. No, you can't wrap onto yourself. So I was, like I said, I was pretty amazed when this lady handed me this carnelian after I said that carnelian was one of my favorite stones. I was like, wow, you just carry carnelian around in your purse? Do you have other stones in your purse too? But, so we're about in the middle right there. So we have to decide which is front and back. I'm thinking that this is going to be, and I've got this a little bit wonked out here, so we need to do this anyway, but we've got to get those 4 wires down so that they're beside each other again instead of one sitting on top of the other like something is doing here. So let's find out what we got going on here. Which one is on top of the other? Because one is, I think this is the one that's on top of this one. So we need to get those pulled apart some. Now, if these won't pull apart, sadly, I am going to have to pull my wrap apart until I can get them apart because we don't want them on top of each other like this. So let's see where they started going on top of each other. Because this side is perfect over here. There we go, that's the spot. So let's squish these down. And now we will bring this back in place, holding our wires over here so that they don't decide they want to wrap over the top of each other again. Okay. Now this one is a little bit wonky right here. Let's see if we can get them together a bit better. It's not bad. We'll make sure that one goes to the back side of our wrap when we wrap it up. So now we need to cut our excess wire off. And we want to make sure that we're cutting it in a way that it stays on the side where we want to have it buried at. Okay. So, there we go. There's our wrap. We're going to squish it into place some more. And now we're going to okay, that's about where I want it to. That's good. So the next thing we want to do is wrap it around our stone. So because I left that little bump, I want that bump to be sure to be in the back of my, so we're going to bend this around some, making sure that we have it bent in a way that this is our bottom down here, like so. And I'm going to pull this second mat out. It lets it, because I have a second mat in here, it's soft, and so it's letting the stone sink down into it, making it harder for me to wrap. So we will, ugh, look at all this crud that was underneath my mat, gross. Well, it's obvious I don't use I always use the second mat. Got all kinds of junk under it. I use the second mat because, as you can see, this one's getting a little worn. I did buy a new mat the other day, so maybe before I put that little one back on, I'll change this mat out. Anyway, we want the stone here to be at the base of this. And because I'm going to push it, the wires, that's why I took off that, so I don't have that extra cushioning. So we're going to pull our wires around. Come on, you. And they'll be in a little bow right here. Now, one thing I am going to do, and I should have done it probably before I just did that, is I'm going to get out a pin twist, and I'm going to twist these front 2 wires. So set that aside for right now. Now, when you ask what is a pin twist, that's this little tool here. And what you do is you take one of your wires, and you can do this with a pair of pliers. You don't have to do it with a pin twist. Now I've got that locked in there, and I just turn it. See how it's giving a lovely twist to our wires here? Isn't that fun? Okay, so I've got this one all twisted. Now I'll do the same with this one. Now this is 21 gauge wire, so it goes into the pin twist really easily. If I were using 18, which I do use sometimes for the bigger stones, you have to pull open that a little bit, the pin twist part. Right here, you need to put something in it, like I use my thumbnail usually to make it a little bigger so that it will open up a little bit more so you can get more bigger size wires in. But there we go. Now what I need to do is, because I went and did this, I need to round these back out again. Now this one is going to have a bow in it. I'm just not going to put it in right yet. So we need to put this back on our stone and bring our wire around. So like that. So now that we've got this all around here, and hopefully we have it back, we have it in the proper order. It's not. I can see this one's popping back to the back when it is a front one. We don't want it to do that. So we're going to try and pull them apart a little bit so we can get them in the right, keep them in the right order as they come around here. So there is that one. Now we're going to go over here, see if these are in the right order. Pretty much, though this one is trying to go to the front still. There we go. Now we'll see if our wire is about the same as these are. Looks pretty close, so we'll just... So we want to put it over it again, see if it's still meeting up pretty good. Looks pretty good. So now we're going to take all of our wires, try and keep them as straight as you can so they're in the right position. We're going to take this 12-inch wire and we're going to start wrapping around here. Now we're going to do about, maybe 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch of all of the wires. Probably only about 1/4 inch actually. You want to get them as tight as you can together. Now, as you can see, they're going to try and wiggle on you. That is not a surprise. So now that we've got this last little bit, we're going to take our last little bit here and we're going to, with our pliers, and we're going to bring it up. Now, it's a little bit beyond where I want it, so I'm going to cut this last bit off of it. And then we'll just make sure it's tucked in here pretty good. Now we've got this little tail here. Take our and squish this down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these top two, pull them so we can tell which ones they are. And then the rest of them as we can get them over. We want to get the proper 4. That's this one here to the sides, like so. Now the next step depends on how you want your bail to come around. If you want it to come from here to go down to the back, you pull these two aside and you start wrapping them. If you want it to go from the back to the front, then you pull the last two. And I'm going to go back to front today, I think. So I need to get the last two. That's these two. And I'm going to bring this little wire around, and we're going to move these out and these out, bring this one up, and we're just going to start wrapping these two. Now you could wrap I could have wrapped 4 if I wanted to, because I have extra lines in here. I don't normally do 4. I usually only the wrap buns, but I usually only do 3, but this time I'm doing 4. So now you want to take and wrap these two at least an inch up. So now you could take this and just do this, but if you do that, remember you want to keep your white lines tight. And when I just twist it around like that, I don't always manage to keep my lines tight. And you also have to remember your half round, you want the flat side down doing the wrapping and the half round of the rounded side on top. If you're not careful, you'll find this will flip and you'll need to fix it. And as you go, you can squeeze these so that they stay pretty good. Or you can wait till you're done before you do your squeeze. Oops, now see, I just let it wrap on top of the one below it. We don't want that. So, looks like we have the inch we need. So I'm going to just give it a couple of more wraps around. Now if you want a fancier belt, you could do a basket weave here, which is from one, open these up a little bit and go from one, then over to the other, and one, and then over to the other. I am going to just use this simple wrap, obviously. Now, as this comes around, this is going to be the middle, so you want to bring your little tail over here to cut it so it doesn't show so much. And we'll tuck it in tight with my regular pliers. And then we'll use our iron nylon jaw to straighten it all up and go all around. So there we go. Now, as I said, I'm going to bring mine forward, and that's why we use these two. If you were taking it the other direction, you would have used the other front two, as I said. So these are out of the way. And you need either a dowel, or you can use a pin if you want, just something that needs to, you can put in here and roll it around. I usually use my bow making pliers. So just take it at the end and wrap it down all the way till you get down there. Go. Now we want to spread these two apart. One that way, one this way. Bring this down, and then we're going to take these and go wrap around. Now you can wrap just this one time like I just did, or you can wrap it so that you can bring it around again. So that you know it's good and tight, like so. And now you can cut these and wrap them inside our loop here. So let's get our pliers out again and we'll pull them through. Now I'm going to want to cut these wires. And then we're going to tuck them right here. This one didn't tuck very well. I think I may have cut it too long, so we will pull it out some. Cut it off some more so that when it tucks a little better. So let's slide that back up there, get hold of it here, pull it up and around so we can tuck it in better. Come on, you. Okay, that's better. So there is our loop, our wrap, and we'll now the next step is to put the stone inside. So we'll just now, because we want the front one a specific way, we're just going to slide our fingernail under that, like so. Then we'll take our pliers, grab it right down here at the base, and give it a little twist in, like so. And we'll do the same with the other side. Put our pliers right here at the base. Give it a twist in. Now, as you can see, I don't have a deepest twist right here, so we're gonna see if we can't fix that up some. It's my biggest thing I do that I don't like is I get this one side always smaller than the other for some reason. Now we'll push our carnelian down into there. And it should fit all right. We're going to turn it over and see it's trying to fall out, and that's fine. Actually, I should have seen which side I liked better because this is a flat, like a worry stone, and so it really doesn't have a specific place to go in. So I sort of like that illustration. Let's have that in the front. Now we're going to do the same thing on the back that we did on the front, and that's get that last wire. This wire has twisted. Not good. Oh well, we get it anyway. Come here, come down here. And okay, now I need to get the carnelian in so that I don't get it, so I can't get it in because I've got its wires all out. Okay, now we want to bring these wires in. You can do it with your fingers or you can do it with pliers. But this is the back side now, and we're getting it so that it is holding our carnelian in place. This one has a bow right here, and it might be a natural thing in the wire that I missed, but this bow is not looking very pretty on this side. But anyway, it's going to hold that wire in. I mean, it's going to hold the stone in. Now we have two on the sides here because this one had a wide side. So I decided to put two in. So we'll spread these apart a little bit to hold it. And if I thought I needed it, I could bring this one over a little bit as well. So it's over towards the back some. So we'll do that a little bit. Like so. And now our stone is firmly in place, as you can see. And the next step is, I'm going to try and get this a little bit sharper because this side is much sharper than this side is, and we want them to be as close as possible. Okay. Where's crooked up here? So there is this is the back side, and I don't like it to be unpretty. It's not bad. It looks a lot like the other side. But this one and this one are different because this one's more rounded and it's got some flaws in it. Like it's got some bends. But it's all right. I think this bend is right here at the top. Oh, that's better. Okay, so now we've got, you need to come over just a hair's breadth more, I think. There we go. Now our next step, we're going to play with our top pieces here now. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take, and we're going to make a swirl with a couple of these, but I'm going to do it by putting my finger here, and then I'm going to bring it around here and bring her over here. Now I'm going to do that same one with our other wires. We're just going to follow the line of the other one here. So now there's our swirl across our top there. Now we're going to do another sort of swirl, but it's going to take these three and we're going to bring them all the way around like so. Now, because I didn't do those individually, you can see they are trying to do their own thing, sort of. So we're going to pull them out and bring them around individually, like so. So now we're down here, and we're over here. And now it's time to make some decorative pieces onto here. Okay, so I put a couple of ball spacers here because I like to use them as decorative pieces. So I'm going to pull this this wire up, and we're going to put on a few ball spacers. Raise this up some so their ball spacers fall better. And I'm thinking we may want a few more. Okay. I'm going to raise these because I'm going to bring this around below them, like so. And we're going to bring this one out, lift these two up. This one's going to come around. And it's going to get trimmed and tucked. See the wires right here where I trimmed it? Oops, sorry, off screen. Didn't mean to do that. So that one is now tucked in, and it's got all of the pretty balls on it. Now these ones, the ones we had up above, we can do one of two things with. We can pull those around and wrap them too, or we can make some curlicues. Now I'm probably going to make the curlicues with these two because they're going to fall below there. So we'll see. Right now I'm going to work on these two curlicues. We'll start with this one. On you. Now I'm going to cut the end of this off because it's not curling. It is curling in a weird way, so now I'm going to put this one come here, you, right there at the base. Then we'll curl this one, and it's going to go below it. So now we'll do the other one, and we're going to put it more or less below this one. Now you can do any number of things with your curlicues. The biggest thing is just this base piece to hold your piece in place, and your curves to hold your piece in place. When you get to the ends here, it's do whatever you want time. You can make your curls go way down there. You can make them stay up here. You can do no curls at all and just wrap your extra wires around and tuck them in, like I have the other ones I just tucked in. There's no set rules on how you do things here. Now these two, actually there's three. Forgot there was three. We want that ball to go over on the other side of that wire. I just noticed it's over on this side because it's gone into a hollow spot. What I want to do is bring this wire now. You'll notice I'm cutting off little bits of the bottom of the spirals, and that is because if you make a spiral, you'll see that half of the time when you first start it, it's got a flat spot. Well, we don't want a flat spot if we can help it, so cut that first little bit off. Now this spiral is, if it'll do what it's supposed to, is going to get the other side of that bead and sit right here. Now I'm thinking that's enough decoration probably with the 3 little spirals. So I'm probably going to take these extra ones, and pull them around trim them off. Then I'm going to take my regular pliers, give them a tug to make sure they're tight, and then I'm going to tuck it inside here. And I think I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So we'll pull it around. Make sure it's tightly here. Cut it off, giving enough room to just give yourself a little bit of a curl and turn to tuck it in with the base here. And the wondrous thing is, because you've done this front stuff, you can't really see that you've tucked it in the back. And we don't need any more of those. So now, instead of the little ball spacers, I could have used some tiny 3mm beads here as well. Those work really well as well. Isn't that pretty? All wrapped up. Now, to continue this on, you can just put a simple chain on it, or you could do a beaded chain, maybe some, if you have Jesse James chain reaction, you could put that on too. Though if you do chain reaction, I want to show you a little something if I can find a nice clear one to use here that doesn't have anything. The chain reaction, if you're going to use the chain reaction, it's an 18-inch piece of really beautiful decorated chain from Jesse James Beads. And when you get up here to the top, you'll notice that it always ends with a split ring and a bead. Well, I would cut that off, but at the 18 inches, you're going to have to split it anyway, because the chain reaction always has a bead every once in a while. That's what makes it so pretty and so great. But because those beads are there, well, I might have made the bell big enough. If you make your bell big enough and the beads can go through, that's fine. If not, you'll have to split it so that you can put them through, and then you'll have to jump bring it back together. This little guy wants to move around, and I don't want him to. So let's see what we can do to discourage that. maybe we'll have to make him up pull him up a little tighter. I liked him down lower. We'll just pull him a little bit out. See how that'll work. But anyway, like I said, chain reaction, some regular chain. You could even put it on a piece of leather if you wanted. Actually, I have a piece of leather right here. Let's see what it looks like on a piece of leather. It would look all right, though, of course, that makes it much more casual, I guess is the word I want to use. Could put some, but let's see, we have some chain here, regular chain. So it's just some regular chain there. Or a more fancy chain or something. It doesn't matter what you put on it. You could use, see, I think I have a fancier chain right here. So you could put him on a more fancy chain. Oops, dropped it. Now I think I might like this chain better, but like I say, you can use any number of different chains to string this on, or you could even make a beaded chain to put this on if you prefer that. But there we go. There's our wrapped carnelian. Like I say, we can put it on chain reaction if we wanted to, but we would have to split one of these rings out, put it behind there, and then put it back together again. And since this is welded, you would need to cut it and use a tiny oval jump ring to go put it back together. And if you wanted it longer than 18 inches, then you'd have to put an extender chain in with the chain reaction. So there we go. There is our wrapped carnelian. I could have pushed it a little more to the front, but I didn't, so too bad. There we go. There it is. There we go. There's our wrapped carnelian. I hope I did this baby justice, since it was such a wonderful gift. And here's what the back looks like. This is a little bit wonky here. I think I can get it a little bit better there. Looks a little better. But as you can see, all the wires are hidden because they're tucked into this top up here. And there's our front piece. And I do have the little curlicues in here, which I like. I think they look cute, and I do like to have a few little beads around the base here. Like I said, you could use a little gemstone in here instead of the spacers. That would look really pretty. Or any little like 3 or 4 millimeter bead. Probably 3 is best. I think these are 3 I've got on here. Well, they just call them 6/0, so they're the same as 6/0 seed bead. If you wanted to put a seed bead in there, that would work also. Colored one. So anyway, that is our wrapped carnelian stone. Hope you enjoyed the story of how I got this carnelian, as well as having fun wrapping it. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.